I'm going to press record, and here we go. This is it. This is the end of the official challenge. Have you guys seen the video yet?
That's so good. Oh, Eric.
So
yes,
yeah,
it is a video, Sally. I need to keep rewatching.
yep.
It's
Yeah.
very good.
I would actually suggest making some notes.
Yes, I
You
will.
know, get the 10 wild fit principles written down, you know, and then the categories. And I'm going to encourage everybody over the next week to really go through the exercise of, making 4 columns on a piece of paper and identifying which foods belong in which category for you at this point. And by the way, that doesn't mean that those things can't change too.
Well, it's forever revolving.
Yeah, yeah. And we're going to talk, we'll talk a lot more about the freedom line, which in the video he still calls the don't line, but we've changed that in the programs. We'll talk a lot more about that. Let's start with check-ins though, just to see where everybody is. Stan, you were here first. Let's start with you.
I think more or less okay. I had posted to Facebook about concerns about my weight going up, but I think maybe it was an artifact of the scale. I reset the scale and it seems to be more consistent with where I was going before. So as of yesterday, 205,
Wow.
which is down 27, I think. I did watch the video and I know we're going to talk about that later on. But I think this one was big stuff, unlike the one 2 weeks ago, which was a big yawn, or 1 week ago. I can't even remember. So I've been thinking a lot about, what I'm going to try and what I'm going to have and not have and so on. But like Linda, I agree. I think I need to take some notes with the video. I did have one question about the FAQs for this week, and it was the next to the last one. And it said, if you're going to have meat-based meals, they should be between 1 a week and 1 a month. And I understand that and I agree that we don't necessarily need to eat meat every day, but this is implying that we should have it not any more often than 1 day out of 7. And that's something that I don't think Eric ever said anything about. So I'm just kind of wondering how much attention we have to pay to that.
So here's the thing, and it is a great question, actually. First of all, women need less protein than men in general. And if you remember from some of the earlier videos, one of his examples was when they go out and hunt in the bush and they only catch small animals, they don't make any attempt to bring them home to the women. They just eat them right where they are. So I think there are a couple of things.
I'm not sure that that's because they altruistically decided that women didn't need as much meat as it was because they were men, and this was one of the many ways in which they kept women in subjection.
No, it's muscle. It's muscle. It's the muscle composition of men and women are different.
But I believe it's actually a combination of all of those things. Not that it was a deliberate attempt to subjugate them, but that men considered themselves in that aspect to be more important to the long-term survival of everybody, because everybody needs some form of meat. So if there's only enough for the men are going to get it. But my point is that
okay,
for you as a man versus Linda and I as women, you may not want to be quite that extreme. Is it possible that you don't need that much meat, that you could survive perfectly well on 1 day a week or even 1 day a month? Yeah, it's absolutely possible, but it's also a reasonable choice in terms of where you want to put those foods in your food categories. Okay, so it may be more doable for you from your perspective that you only want to have a couple of meatless days or a couple of meatless meals a week. You may, as time evolves, you may make some changes around that. One of the things that I find, for example, is I may go through a period of days where I'm eating a ton of protein. And in fact, eating more protein than veggies. And then I'll go through a next period of days where I'm eating no protein. other than what shows up in veggies. So one of the things that he does not talk about clearly in this video either is, and is a more advanced technique, it might show up in next week's videos, is eating mono meals. So where basically you're only eating one thing at a meal. And I actually do a fair amount of that.
Do you mean one thing or one category of things?
One category of things like meat.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
Even if you're having
Or just leafy greens, for
Right.
example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the theory behind that is that a single category of foods is easier to digest than mixing different foods together in the same meal, because different foods require different digestive, have different digestive impact. So that's something that, you know, you may or may not want to experiment with. It is definitely an option. A lot of people find it really helpful to reduce stomach issues and so forth. And, you know, it's worth an experiment. I guess that's what I have to say
Okay.
about that.
And speaking of experiments, he briefly alluded to fasting and said there was a bonus video, but I sure couldn't find that on the site.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Thanks. I'm wondering if maybe it used to be there or they intended for it to be there, but the video never got updated.
Possibly. I know, and you still have access. I know that it is on the WildFit on the Mindvalley version of WildFit. I know it's on there. But
Okay.
I'll take a look on the actual WildFit site and see if I can't find it for you as well.
Thanks.
Cool.
Well, since you mentioned the Mindvalley thing, yeah, I should still have access, so
Yeah.
I'll take a look there and see if I can find it.
I think in the Mindvalley platform, it shows up as resources or something near the end where they put all of that stuff together, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
But I haven't been paying too much attention to the Mindvalley version since I have been going through the whole coaching certification. So cool. All right. And water and breathing are all okay, and you're not having any
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
challenges. No big food devil issues.
Not really, no. Certainly the food devil's been talkative, but I mean, last night again, well, yesterday was a difficult day, and all the way driving home from Palmdale, I was thinking about a glass of wine, and I mean, I kept thinking about it and saying, well, no, I'm really not doing that because this is not in our challenge. But the clincher for me was that it's not in the challenge. So when I got home, I didn't like take out a bottle of wine and stare at it or anything.
Good. That sounds great. All right, Linda.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Water's good. Breathing's good. I found a little glitch that I need to work out. So before, when I was stressed out doing emotional eating, I'd go for the shit food. And so now I've been, living more like the wild fit lifestyle. So what I found is when I'm feeling a little stressed, I'm still doing the emotional eating, but sunflower seeds. And I'm eating way too many of them. So it was good to catch myself like, oh, I just replaced it. Same behavior, just a replacement of what I'm craving. It's not the sugar, it's the salty, nutty, crunchy, mindless eating of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. So I'm not going to buy them for a while.
Well, what else can you do?
I could a million things, Sally.
Yeah,
Go
before you
for a
go to,
walk, go outside, go to my room and clean it. There's a million different things I could be doing, but I don't think about that at the time. I think about, oh, sunflower seeds, I sit there with my little cup, stressed out. So it's that behavior that still has an upper hand over me that I need to work on.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing to pay attention to.
Okay.
Simply removing the sunflower seeds from your availability doesn't solve the problem.
That's right. It doesn't.
So what can you do differently? So I hear you say stress. is triggering emotional eating, what can be a number one response to stress that will help to de-stress you most quickly?
Breathe, and maybe I'm going to take my little cup and write the word breathe on it.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Also a walk, which is what I used earlier this week.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. I did that this morning. I just went for a walk. Just got out of the house, out of the situation, and just went for the walk. So yes. Yeah. But I am going to put breathe. That's going to remind me, don't fill it up.
Breathe first.
Don't need it. Breathe first. When you get hungry, if you want a little cup, have it, but that's it. Don't do it out of emotional enjoyment.
Yeah.
Do it of a nutritional need.
And so in the video, he says very clearly, smile at the emotional hunger and say, not today.
That's right. That's
Not
right.
today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
each time you do that, the emotional hungers get smaller
Yes.
and quieter.
Yeah. I got to remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think that'll really help. Great awareness. Great awareness.
And so I was excited to start the Wild Fit journey. I didn't particularly care for the rarity of coffee. I want my coffee. I enjoy my coffee. It's the best thing ever. I'm going back. I'm having coffee. That's the only thing I want that I've missed.
Pay attention to how you respond to it when you decide to put it back in.
I will. It makes me so warming and encouraging. And
What if that's not true?
Good. But it is true.
Well, no, that's what it used to be. You don't know that it's still true.
Okay, I'll let you know.
You know that's your memory of it.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
And I'm going to encourage you to do some research around coffee.
I have, actually.
And decide whether or not you really want that caffeine in your life.
Okay, all right. I'll do it
Because
again.
there's a lot of bad stuff around it. And I get it. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it,
Yeah, I know.
but do it mindfully for sure.
Yeah, I will do it myself. I am a carnivore. I enjoy my meat, my fish every single day. I love it. Now, have I given up some? Yes. I have an Alka-Geyser for a meal. There's no meat in there. My dinner, I like my meat and veggies. I enjoy it. It's comforting. It feels good. It's satisfying. Morning.
Well, hang on. Let's stop there for a second.
Okay.
It's comforting. I enjoy
Filling.
it. It's satisfying.
And
Those
it's
are all
filling.
emotional hungers that you're satisfying.
Right, but what I mean by that, it fills me up and it sticks with me. So I'm not waking up in the middle of the night hungry.
Uh-huh.
So I like that. I don't like to wake up because I'm hungry.
Sure.
So I enjoy meat. I like it. Yes, it's emotional. And I need it. I want it.
Well, you
Crave
want
it.
it. You don't need as much of it as you're getting, and neither do I.
I know.
And again, I'm not going to say to you, don't eat meat. And certainly I'm not going to say don't eat meat ever, because I eat a ton of meat. I love meat.
Yeah, me too.
But I do want you to think about at least like a meatless day and see the difference.
I'll think about it. As I'm thinking right now, it does not think or feel appealing.
I understand.
I'll be more open-minded. Maybe I'll give up meat for breakfast.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
listen to your language. Listen to your language. It doesn't sound appealing.
It doesn't.
Right. But appealing is an emotional thing.
It is. I understand that. And I know nutritionally, I don't need to have it in the, all the time. That I do understand. But Sally, I guess I have emotional work to still do around this stuff. I just feel like I've given up everything in my life that I've enjoyed. Smoking, drinking, all that, sugar, all the things it's like I just
Cocaine.
I gave that up too, and pot and all that. So I just feel like I want to enjoy my life too.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know I can still Wild Fit lifestyle, enjoy it, and be a little bit flexible, but keep the one thing in mind always. It's not what you're not eating, right? Did he say that? It's not the vegetable that you're not eating. It's what happens when you do. So I just have to keep reminding myself as I eat them, yes, it's going to help me stay more healthy.
Mhm.
It's not having it in my life in the amount that I should be having that could open me up to something I would not have gotten if I was eating them. So to be on a healthy base for me, yes, I like the Wild Fit lifestyle. I'm all in. I could do fine without milk and cheese. I've given all that up and I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I have to have it. But when I do really want my meat, I think I really want to eat it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All-
But I
all
will,
all
I
I
will
want you to
take
do
you
is
up
think
on
about it.
that. I will take you up on that. Trying a meatless day. I will definitely take you up on that and I will try. I'll take my steps like I did with the coffee. Okay. Give it up at breakfast. I could do without it at lunch. I like my egg salad. So I have alternatives that are filling and satisfying.
Hmm.
So I'll try a full day. I'll just work my way to it.
Sure, absolutely. And all I'm asking you to do is keep an open mind and really think consciously and conscientiously about what it is that you're doing. And I think you're absolutely on the right path.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I'll pay more attention to that emotional because it's really
Uh-huh. That's the hard one.
that is a hard one.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Sandra, welcome back. Other way, you just muted yourself. There, up. Try again.
It's because I'm trying to use the space bar today. And so I'm like, oh. Anyways, I'm doing okay. What's helped me also, I'm still at my uncle's house. So I'm still up north. Don't have all of my cooking utensils and tools, but I'll be going home next week sometime. So
Cool.
so I've been doing what I can here, and I just got a delivery from Costco. I just had them deliver, so I'm excited because I got some rice cauliflower.
Nice.
So I'm gonna try that out today. So yeah, I've been trying different things. The alkalizer, I'm running out, so I'm gonna have to go buy some stuff tomorrow. Because I didn't want to buy it from Costco because it's huge quantities. But otherwise doing okay. I just have to look up recipes because I'm getting bored again. But yeah, I just got chicken. But I like your idea of just not having meat for a day because I'm sometimes I don't. But yeah, and I got eggplants. I just need to come up with some more ideas of what to do, especially right now that I don't have all of my stuff. I don't have my almond flour here and things like that. But I wanted to see how else I can do the eggplant. Because I bought one of those to try it out. So
Did you get a big one or a little one?
it's not too big. It's probably this big.
How big around? So a regular size one.
Regular size, probably.
You might want to try slice it into cut it into quarters lengthwise, and it's probably got a fair amount of seeds in it. So I would cut some of the seeds out.
Okay.
So you don't have too many, and then cut that into bite-sized pieces and try roasting it.
Okay.
I like to do that, and then I'll put it on salads and stuff too.
Okay. Okay, I'll try that.
That'd be something a little different.
Just don't burn it like I did.
I've done that too.
I like it crispy, so
There you go.
But yeah, so that's it. I'm trying to think if I have any other updates, but not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Have you seen the video yet today?
I saw it, yes.
Okay, cool. Because we're going to come back and talk about that in some more detail. Excellent. Well, it sounds like you're doing really well, especially for being on the road, because that's not easy.
It's not, but yes.
So
I'm
good job.
doing okay. Yeah.
Good job.
I love seeing your cat today.
Well, really, you're seeing his butt at the moment. It's
But it makes me laugh. I love it. I love it. I got this one still on my lap. Still haven't told my parents. Let's see what happens when I get home.
Yeah, just bring her along and see what happens. That'll
If
work.
not, I'll drop her off in the Tehachapi with you on my way home.
Yeah, no, I'm currently dogless and staying that way for a little while, but thank you.
All right, I'll drop off a cat then.
No, I've got one. That's all I need. Actually, I don't
Just
even
kidding.
need this one. I've been thinking
Hey.
about rehoming him.
Jules is kind of mean. She
No.
doesn't need him.
Hey, but he keeps the mice away and he's gonna protect your greenhouse
Yeah, not
from the
so much.
rats. No?
Nah, not so much.
Okay. Just don't take him another pound, okay?
No, I would never do that.
Thank you.
That would be wrong. No, I
Thank
said I was thinking about rehoming him, not getting rid of him.
Thank you.
Two different things. Cool. All right, Dana, how are you doing? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Sandra, I want to go back to you because I always want to know this one for you. How's your water?
Water's okay. I've been buying bottled water because my uncle has Arrowhead. I'm looking at it right now. And for some reason, I don't like Arrowhead water.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't like there's the taste. So I bought my own bottled water. So the water's been okay. And right now I actually try to order some through Costco and
Mhm.
it's all gone because people are doing the same thing again. So there's no water, there's no toilet paper. So, but
Yeah.
yes, it's been okay. I've been definitely, it's on my mind, on my watch, my reminders.
Good.
So yes, I get plenty of reminders to drink, drink, drink.
Good. Good. Perfect. All right, now Dana.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Scared me. I watched half the video. I didn't watch all of it. It was too long. And I didn't have that kind of time. But I am gonna have coffee. I like coffee. I drink it black. I know it's not good for me, but I'm drinking it anyway. And I'm looking forward to wine on Thanksgiving. So
Okay. And I'm going to say the same thing about coffee to you that I said to Linda, that, you know, it's always been a big part of your life, just as it was for mine. And you may decide it can be a less big part and still be part of your life. No charge on that. Just be aware.
it's gonna be every day. I like coffee.
Well, yes, that's your plan right now. And what does Joe always say to us? What if that wasn't true? What if it turns out that you don't like it as much as you used to? Are you still going to keep drinking as much as you were without thinking about it?
I was only drinking 2 cups, so probably.
Okay. I'm just saying, think about it. That's all.
Can we really? I really want to ask. My impression is that Eric is just demonizing caffeine. I mean, I've done some looking on the internet, which is, I guess, what is research nowadays. And Healthline says it's actually got benefits. It can reduce heart disease, likelihood of heart disease, likelihood of diabetes. You know, now they're not talking about somebody who drinks 16 cups a day, but nobody here is talking about doing that either. So I'm just, aside from Eric's little story about, well, caffeine is a poison that plants use so insects don't eat it, I really can't understand why caffeine is even an issue, frankly.
It's an issue on several different levels. And one of the things that's really kind of interesting is, you know, you would think that Healthline would actually be telling the truth, but it tells partial truths. And are there potentially some benefits to caffeine? Sure. But are there also more unbenefits? You know, is it a natural thing that really, is it something that we require? And the answer to that is absolutely not. We have no requirement for caffeine. So there's that.
Right. But I also don't see that it does any harm.
Okay. You might want to take a look at Michael Pollan's book, which is called Caffeine.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I mean, he makes no bones about it. It's addictive, and I believe that. But as he says, what's the harm in an addictive substance if you have a ready source of supply and you can afford it? And merely the fact that it's addictive does not make it harmful.
Well,
it would be if it had other bad effects, as for instance, cocaine does.
Well, he goes on pretty clearly about the impact of the insecticidal qualities of caffeine. That was what got me off of it.
What? I'm sorry, what was the name of the author?
Michael Pollan.
Pollan.
Two L's, right. He also wrote The Omnivore's Dilemma and a bunch of other stuff around health. So, yeah, and again, I'm not going to turn this into an argument. You guys get to make your own decisions about what you want to do. I'm just saying, all I want you to do is make those decisions as mindfully as you can and really pay attention to it. And the thing that I'm picking on in terms of, you know, the caffeinated beverages for you guys that are saying, yeah, I'm absolutely going right back to it. That's cool. But just notice whether or not the effect that you get from having that coffee, in this case, is what you were anticipating. Just notice that. And if it's not, then choose if it's what you want to continue to do, or if you want to do something different. And if it is,
I'm absolutely sorry.
And if it is, that's cool.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Stan.
I say I'm absolutely planning on doing that with my tea, but tea is going to be the first thing I try tomorrow morning. And yes, I'm going to notice what it does. And if I find out that it doesn't make me feel as good as I think, or that it makes me feel bad, then I'll rule it out.
Cool. And then the other thing with coffee is that it really is a highly processed food. You can't just pull coffee beans off the tree and eat them. So there's that. Anyway, back to Dana, where we got off of the topic of Dana and onto the topic of coffee and caffeine.
I'm looking forward to modifying recipes to make things more wild fit. I know Alan's not going to go along with all of that, but that's okay. We'll figure out a happy medium.
Cool. Speaking of recipes, guys, I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm going to put up in the Facebook group that are just like printed recipes. I haven't done videos on them. So these are coming either from WildFit or some other sources. And a couple of them are semi-good as they sit, but I've put some notes in about substitutions to make, because like one of them calls for butter. Well, substitute it out for coconut oil, you know, and a couple of things like that. So look for my notes in blue on the ones where you need to make some substitutions. But I did this because I wanted to pull together some stuff for you that would make it easier to get through the holidays. So a couple of stuff, I've got at least one stuffing recipe, even cranberry sauce. So if you want cranberry sauce and you're a big cranberry sauce person, a little bit's okay, but keep in mind that typically we don't want to be having fruit with other concentrated foods. So I did it just in case it's something that you feel compelled to have, but not something I'd call ideal. So for you, Dana, any challenges in getting through this week? Any weird food stuff? Just all been normal?
Just no, nothing weird. Alan's still having troubles smelling and tasting, so nothing sounds good to him. Trying to find something that sounds appealing to him has been a little challenging. So we'll do some spicier things and see if we can get him, because he's lost 20 pounds.
Wow.
Since he got sick on the 3rd. So that's, I mean, it's not a bad thing. He needed to lose some weight, but not this way.
Yeah, that's never the right way to do it.
No.
There are a couple of different WildFit cookbooks. They're available on the WildFit site, and one of the other things that I'll be doing is putting up a link for you guys. So if you want to go buy the WildFit cookbooks, you can do that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at comments.
So for the Thanksgiving stuff, I'm just gonna modify some of it with almond milk, and the part Ellen makes, the mashed potatoes, are not gonna be different because he's not gonna allow that. But I don't think he'll taste the difference in the green bean casserole if I make it with almond milk.
Well, and I've actually, one of the recipes I've got is for a green bean casserole that looks pretty good, to me at least. I'm thinking about trying it. And I can't remember what else I found.
And we'll do some cranberries, but we don't eat very many cranberries, so it's not a big deal.
Cool. Yeah, I got a sweet potato casserole thing. And I can't remember what else, but I'll try and get those all posted hopefully this afternoon. So yeah, so that's all good stuff. So let's talk about what it means to live wild fit. And it means a lot of different things. So first of all, right off the bat, we've got 10 wild fit principles. And Eric has enumerated them pretty clearly in the video. I'm just going to run through what they actually are without all the extra stuff, all the examples and stuff that he puts in. And the first one is that diet means way of life, not a temporary alteration to our eating patterns. So in wild fit parlance, we don't go on a diet, we go off our diet if we choose to experiment with something that we know is non-functional. So that's one. And the second one is that every species has developed their own natural diet, and each species has specific dependencies on certain things and a capacity for processing certain biological material, which means, you know, for example, we can't eat a beaver's diet and get the nutrients that we need, nor can a beaver eat our diet and get the nutrients that he needs. So we should be eating what we should be eating. Number three, the closer you live to the natural human diet, the more health you'll experience. And I mean, that's for me, I'm pretty close, and I'm pretty stringent about how I eat, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to do that. Everybody's going to find their level of what really works for them. And just the knowledge that everyone has gained makes a big difference in the food choices that you could be making going forward. I don't think anybody's really, I didn't hear any of you say that you're going to go back to not reading labels and buying stuff that's full of sugar. I don't think anybody's going to do that. Seems really unlikely. The fourth one is that healthy foods don't fight disease. And so all of these advertisements for things like, you know, these 5 vegetables will keep you from getting cancer. Well, that's not really true. What's really true is when we don't have the proper nutrients, we are more susceptible to getting sick. So we want to eat well to make sure we stay well. Number 5 is the human diet is cyclical. We did not evolve to eat the same thing week in and week out. And I guess that's part of the part of the thought too, Linda, around meat at every meal and every day. Really make sure we're getting the variety that we should be getting. And keeping in mind that, you know, we wouldn't have fruit available in large quantities all the time. So cycling fat on and off our body is indeed what we're supposed to be doing. And because of this principle and the way that we evolved to eat, the whole concept of required daily minimum, you know, RDA is just silly. Number 6 is.
Well, one of the other things about the RDA,
Uh-huh.
they haven't changed those numbers since 1940.
Yeah, when Kellogg's got grains into the food pyramid.
Right.
Where they never belonged, the upside down food pyramid. Number 6, the food industry is at least as evil as the tobacco industry ever was. They get their profits by getting us to eat more than we need to eat. Average person in the Western world is eating 2 to 3 times what is needed in quantity and yet gets very little actual nutrition. Absolutely true. And of course, this means that you guys are now a member of the food revolution. So welcome to that. Number 7, nothing tastes as good as health, vitality, and longevity feel. And so the thing to keep thinking about all the time is if you're considering having a treat that you know is a non-functional food, is the treat worth your health? Do you really want to go there? Number 8, everything in moderation includes your health. Are you okay with moderate health? Number 9, when you treat yourself well. And I actually love his race car analogy around that. You've had your high-end car out for a nice big run, and you're going to go do maintenance on it. Would you put low quality fuel and oil in it? Nah, you wouldn't do that. So would you do it to yourself? And then number 10, leading is always better than pushing. And you've been doing a great job of that, Sandra, with being with your family and just leading by example. You can't make them do what you're doing, but eventually they're going to see what the difference in you has become, and that might make them willing to move forward at that point. So cool. So those are the 10 principles. And then we've got the 4 categories of foods. And so category number 1 is WildFit Essential. These are the things we absolutely have to have. And that includes veggies, fruit, proteins, fats, water. Got to have that stuff. Don't have to have it all every day, but we got to have it, all of it. And then category 2 is WildFit Optional. They don't have any like long-standing evolutionary relationship for us, but they don't cause us problems. And that includes things like avocados, maybe red and yellow bell peppers, tomatoes, other stuff in the nightshade family. And most of that stuff I eat. I eat less. I actually eat a whole lot less of like colored bell peppers now than I used to, because to me, even green peppers taste sweet at this point. And they're cheaper.
Can I just ask a question about avocados? Because I thought we were supposed to put those in our alkalizer. I've been having avocado every day.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine as part of the alkalizer, and it's fine in other options as well. So when we call it a WildFit optional food, that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean it's bad for you in any way. It just means it's not part of our evolutionary history. It's not an essential food. So, and then category 3 is what we call WildFit Rare. So these are things that you may only want to have on a very occasional basis. And some of the examples include coffee. And I know some of you are planning to have coffee on a more than occasional basis. Might be chocolate, might be things like sprouted grain breads, like Ezekiel breads, that kind of thing. And I haven't done this yet, but when I got to this stage in my challenge, I thought, oh yeah, Ezekiel bread, I can make avocado toast again. And I haven't done it yet. I may do it at some point, or I may not. I find I don't really miss bread. And then the 4th category, which in the video, he's still referring to as WildFit Rejected, as being below the don't line. In the more updated version, we're calling that the food freedom line. So anything below here, we're free from. And that might include things like soda, low quality milk chocolate bars, that kind of stuff. Might be ice cream, dairy, grains, all that kind of stuff that are just not part of your identity anymore. And what we want to make sure that we're really paying attention to identifying those foods that are not a question, because it helps significantly, especially when you're out and about with other people and somebody is pressuring you, even though they don't think they're pressuring you, to do something that you really don't want to. If you can simply say, no, I just don't eat that. It's a whole lot easier than I'm trying to stay away from that. No, I just don't eat that. And they're welcome to do it, but you don't have to. So I want, and I don't think I said this the first time when everybody was on. So what I really want you guys to do over the next couple of days is get out a piece of paper, write down the 4 categories, and start putting list foods in each of the categories that you think belong in those categories for you. And those answers are going to be different for everybody, which is why we're not going to give you a list of that stuff. Do download the food guidelines so that you can, see all that really clearly, and that'll help you to work through that process. I'll also say that somehow when I did my challenge initially, I missed the fact that I should have been doing that. And I didn't actually do it until I started my coaching certification stuff. I can wait. Really, Kat? Thank you. I didn't start doing it until I started the coaching certification, and it's really made a difference in how I feel about certain foods. So I highly recommend going through the exercise. One of the things to keep in mind is things that are cascade foods for you, that lead to eating more of them or more of the other things that you don't really want to be eating, should definitely be below your freedom line. And then watch out for the 6 hungers, and especially the emotional hunger. I'm going to suggest that because the videos will stay available even after we finish the challenge next week, rewatching the first couple of weeks can be a really beneficial thing to do. And keep in mind that every time you don't succumb to the food devil, you're actually building self-esteem and feeling better about the things that you are doing. So that's got kind of a huge bonus in and of itself. To me, it makes a big difference in overall in the way that I feel. And I think the same is true for probably everybody. And then the final thing, of course, is to watch out for the food timeline, especially as you're moving into the living wild fit phase, because now you're going to be making decisions and choices about what it is that you want to eat. We're not going to tell you what, oh no, you're not going to eat this today. You're not going to eat this week. And as always, we've got the buffer zone coming up. So you get to decide how you're going to handle the buffer zone and how that's going to work out for you. So I guess one of the questions that I've got is, having come through, I think we're on day 82 actually of our 90 days, but we're basically through the challenge portion of this. I would love to hear from each of you how you really feel about what this experience has been like, how it's been different from other nutritional programs you've tried, and how you feel about being able to move forward and keep doing what you're doing. So I'd love to start in the order that you appear on my screen. So Stan, if you don't mind going first.
I think first off, about reading labels, you're right. It's a pain in the ass, but it's very clear that I need to do it and to pay attention to what's on them. And I'm sorry, I just blanked. Repeat the question, please.
So the first piece is, how do you feel about having come through these 90 days? How does it compare to other nutritional challenges that you've done, and how do you feel about moving forward in your living wild?
Gotcha. I think the other nutritional challenges were basically based on deprivation, and it was a list of, it was essentially, if you don't eat these bad things, you're gonna lose weight. And just like Eric says, they worked for a while, but they didn't work continuously because they were based on willpower, and willpower does not work over the long haul. So I think that is a major difference, and I've really felt it. Sticking to each week what we're doing in terms of what kinds of foods we're eating and not eating has not always been super easy, but it's always been much easier than I thought it would be. I think the idea that we can not deprive ourselves, but rather have a lot of good stuff, I think that's a really strong difference. And it took me a while to get into it, but it's been getting to be kind of a fun challenge to have wild fit friendly foods. I made a shrimp curry last week, and I'm actually going to make it again. I bought ingredients yesterday, but this time around, I'm going to depart from the printed recipe even further and really put in a lot more vegetables, because I can kind of mentally taste adding onion and celery to it, and I think they'll be really good.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So I think the idea of eating for abundance instead of eating for deprivation, I think, is a really powerful one, and has made this a lot more doable than it would have been otherwise.
And you feel
For me.
comfortable going forward?
Probably, yeah. Definitely, I feel like I need to do research before I make decisions about things that Eric would put below the bottom line there. But I think, I can do that. And I need to really, I will really pay attention to the food timeline. My plan is not to introduce a whole bunch of stuff at once, but to do one thing at a time and see how that works before I do something else.
Good plan.
So that way, if let's say, for example, that, and I don't expect this to happen, but my eyes are going to be open if it does. Let's say that I'm fine for the first day or two of drinking tea, but then on day 4 or 5, I start to have some kind of something going on, and tea would be then the logical culprit. And if I then say, okay, I'll drop tea and see what happens, and the bad thing goes away, then that'll definitely tell me something.
Exactly. Great awareness. Perfect. Sandra, how about you? Find your mute.
Yeah, I'm trying to use the space button instead of the mouse, and I'm all, hello. And I did kind of forget the questions, but I'm going to tell you what I think of the program. So I'm like, I feel good. I know I can feel even better once I get back home and I'm back to 100%, having all of my stuff at home. But what I really appreciated about this program is that it's taught me to think about what I eat. And it's sad, but I had never read labels at the store. And I didn't realize that there was sugar in everything. So if nothing else, I'm like, that has been a big thing for me. And so, yeah, now I look at everything I buy and I'm like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, the biggest thing for me was I love that Lori seasoning salt. Don't have it anymore because it has sugar in it. I'm like, come on. But yeah, it's gotten easier because I remember the first few times I went to the store and I was like, oh my goodness, like trying to find something that didn't have sugar in it. So now I know not to go to the inside aisle, just stick to the outside, call it a day. Makes it a lot easier. So those have been big takeaways for me. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to keep on going with the challenge. And like Stan was saying too, with previous diets or whatever, yeah, usually it's just like cold turkey, no more of this, yada yada, and they don't teach you about why it's bad for you or what it's doing to your body. And so I appreciate that about this because it did feel like I got to little by little, we moved into the program and took away things or whatever, and it helped because otherwise, to take everything away at one time, woo, it would have been tough.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
For
so
sure.
so this program, has definitely been better than previous diets that I've tried, and I've never cooked so much in my life, and I've never had. The sad part is, I'm like, I don't think I've had this many vegetables in my life. Just drinking my appetizer. I'm like, it's crazy, it's sad, but it's the truth. And so it's interesting because yeah, I'm like never cooked so much for myself. So it's been good. So I'm hoping, that I can get my parents to come along on this trip with me. And like I said, my dad is more open to, eating the stuff that I make, but we'll see if I can get my mom to. I even shared one of the recipes, your recipe today, the artichoke dip one with one of my neighbors here at my uncle's house. I shared it with her yesterday because she was telling me, she's like, oh, I would love to try that. Because, she's lactose intolerant. I was like, this is great. So,
Got the
so it's
perfect
been
thing
good.
for you.
Yeah. So, it's definitely been a great learning experience.
Cool. Super. How about you, Dana?
What I like is I think I have some tools that'll keep me headed in the right track to lose the rest of the weight that I want to lose. And I'm really glad it's over by Thanksgiving so we can moderately enjoy Thanksgiving dinner.
I planned it that way deliberately.
Although we're not cooking the whole big turkey, which normally I would make soup afterwards, which I've been looking forward to. But we're going to do the Instapot turkey breast because we don't need to eat turkey for months afterwards. And I'll probably work on getting a roasting a chicken that I can make my soup out of instead.
Be careful with the turkey breasts. I have not found one yet that does not have sugar and natural flavorings in it.
I haven't found a turkey yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And the only store I haven't gone to, no, I looked at Ross too. I haven't found one. I went to every store. I've gone even to Walgreens, which I hate to go to. Although their price on turkeys is pretty good.
Walgreens has turkeys?
Not Walgreens, Walmart.
Oh,
Walmart.
yeah. No, their price was pretty good, but they had some of the crappiest turkeys I saw. I'm gonna hit up. Have you looked at turkeys at Costco yet?
I did not look at turkeys at Costco. I gotta go to Costco today, so I'm gonna try and do that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you check that one? Because I know that Costco had just a turkey breast, but I didn't check to see if it has sugar.
Nope, the ones that Costco has have sugar.
Yeah, I haven't found any turkeys that didn't have, and I'm not sure where the sugar is. It might be in the gravy packet, which I can throw away. I don't need it.
No, I think it's in the solution that they inject.
Probably is. I don't know how much sugar is in it. I do know that there's a saline solution that they usually inject. And when they started doing sugar, it has to be within the last 5 years.
I wonder, come to think of it, well, I don't know if it would pull the sugar out or not, but maybe brining a turkey would reduce the quantity of sugar. Maybe. Diesel makes a good turkey. Diesel? Like the fuel?
It's a farm.
Oh,
It's a farm that makes all natural, but I'll rephrase that. Organic, no shit in it. Turkeys. Yeah. And
I had a friend that
Applegate,
was doing that.
yeah. And Applegate has a good oven roasted turkey breast, no antibiotics, organic, humanely raised. So look for Applegate. You might be able to buy it online. Oh, where to buy? Hold on, let me go there.
There was
I-
a chicken hatchery here that was doing that. I was helping them try to find a processing plant a few years
Yeah.
ago.
It looks like you can buy it online too. So check them out. Applegate is a good product. I buy a lot of their stuff.
okay, cool.
They make a
Uh,
bacon too, don't they?
They do. They make a bacon, and Walmart carries it. Amazon Fresh. Don't forget about Amazon Fresh, and Instacart are your online stores. And let me see.
Yeah, I don't use Instacart. They're too expensive for me. And I haven't seen Applegate bacon in Walmart at all.
I think it's where you live, Sally.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. But could you go online? You can buy it online. I believe they can send it to you.
So you anticipating any issues going forward, Dana?
I just have to make sure I watch how much other stuff creeps back in. Just because it's easier, not because it's healthier, just because it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what we're doing. I think going forward, I think I'm going to get a whole bunch of those dishes with the different things in them so I can make mom some healthier meals because she started eating a lot more frozen dinners and I don't like what's in most of those. So if we cook
Sugar and chemicals?
huh?
Like sugar and chemicals?
Yeah, although the sugar right now wouldn't hurt her, but she needs to eat a little more. But we have her eating pretty healthy, even on those. I have her eating the better ones. Healthy Choice has less sodium and less sugar than most. And they're on sale in November, so if you want some, get them. They're flying off the shelves around here.
Well, I don't want them. I don't want anything that's got, sugar and natural flavors added to it.
Can I
Well,
make a comment, Dana?
uh,
When I had, taking care of my parents, I bought those trays that had 3 compartments.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and then I would put them all in there and then I'd freeze them.
That's
All
what I'm
my
gonna do.
Yeah, that's a great way. They could pull it out of the freezer and cook it and they're good
And
to
I'm gonna
go.
do them for us too, so that if we don't feel like cooking, we can pull
Yeah.
something out once in a while. So, you know, I mean, if I get like 2 weeks worth of those for mom and 2 weeks for us, then once in a while we can not have to cook and eat something healthy.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I try and do that all the time. I try and always have, some things in the freezer ready to go so that if I got hung up or I just didn't feel like cooking, I've got something that I can go to. It makes a big difference.
You know, that roasted chicken recipe you gave us,
Uh-huh.
huge hit. We eat it all the time. And my granddaughter Brand is like, oh my God, I could eat this whole thing, and that is a bonus for us.
It is pretty yummy. Yeah.
It is so good. So, we eat a lot of whole chickens now, organic ones that we didn't do before.
Yeah.
And we eat a lot of rotisserie chicken that we put on the barbecue. Oh man, that's good.
Oh, you should, hey, give me a recipe for that, Dana. I would like to have a recipe for rotisserie. That'd be great.
Well, all we do is wash it and stick it on the rotisserie with a bunch of herbs.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as the Instant Pot recipe, except
Oh,
you put it
nice.
on a rotisserie.
Okay. All right, cool.
But I like it better than the Instapot. The Instapot, everything kind of falls apart, and in the rotisserie, you can actually cut all the meat off and then use the chicken,
Yeah.
and make chicken broth or whatever else from it.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I actually tied my chicken up when I did it last week or whenever it was. I actually tied it, which, we used to do all the time and kind of got away from it. But I went through the effort of tying the legs and, so they stayed in and the wings stayed in. And actually, when I took it out, it was fine. I was able to slice hunks off of everything and it was good. So we're running, we're actually at time, but I want to hear from you too, Linda. What do you think about this compared to other programs? What are you expecting challenge-wise going forward? So forth.
Okay, so other programs really don't teach you the importance of reading the labels. They say read the labels, but they really don't focus a lot so much on the sugar. And it's mostly they focus on the fat, how many grams of fat that's in it, okay, or how many grams of protein. So I love the reading labels. I'll continue to do that. I enjoyed it for 90 days. I love a good challenge. I like to commit to it and stick with it. So I'm glad it was 90 days. I'm feeling better, stronger emotionally as well. What other programs don't teach you is the behavior aspect of it. So those 5 different eating, feeling hungry, I didn't even know half of those, to pay attention to. So it's definitely educational. I love learning about all those different hungers and learning about the dialogue, the sugar monster and our little angel over here, and how they fuck with you all day long. And so I really enjoyed learning to have that awareness, to be able to stop and say, who's really talking here? Do I, and go through that process. So that's a really great awareness. So I love being able to have that awareness, watching how my mind works and learning from that. And learning that, and I remember you saying, and I told you I just love grilled cheese sandwiches, and you're like, oh yeah, you might change your mind later. I'm thinking, yeah, right, no, I won't. Oh yeah, you were 100% right. Who would have known that I didn't want milk in my coffee? Who would have known that I really don't want cheese anymore? So I just want to thank you for your humor and making it easy for us to learn and supporting us. And that was the biggest thing, is having a coach. Having the coach here to guide us, inspire us, and answer our questions in an intelligent way that made sense. There was no bullshit. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ditto on that. Thank you, Sally. Thank you for being a real coach and keeping it real with us.
Mm-hmm.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
Fox News used to say that, keeping it real. I don't watch Fox, but Sally, I think, yes, I ditto, keeping it real. That's a big thing. Yes, that's a big thing.
So, I actually, in listening to all of you guys, you just gave great testimonials for WildFit. So hopefully you don't mind. I'm going to do some extractions. I'm not going to do everything, but I want to pull some extractions out and share a little bit of what the experience has been like for other people. So I got to pull stuff out because I don't want them knowing everything, right?
Yes, of course.
But I think for people to have the opportunity to hear from other people what this can mean, you know, what the difference is. You know, Sandra, I've got one more question for you before we close today, if you don't mind, which is, as she's looking for the mute, there we go. Which is, you know, you came into this with MS and being really concerned about that. What differences have you noticed as a result of what we've done?
Energy.
Mm.
Cool.
Because for me, for MS, it's horrible with the fatigue. That's like the biggest thing I struggle with every day. And yeah, I'm like with the water and my Alka-Geyser, I got energy. So
Amazing. Good for you.
that's a big thing. Yep.
That's excellent. Excellent. Cool.
Yep.
I got a couple of closing thoughts for you guys, just to give you a hint what's coming up next week, in addition to, you know, Living Well and that support. So first of all, remember for next week, which is our last week together, we will be on every day at 12 o'clock. Eric will have a video every day, and as we wind this out, and there'll be some additional resources that I'm going to provide for you as well, in addition to the recipes I'm going to try and get loaded this afternoon. We'll be starting a new Facebook group for alumni. And I'll probably not do that immediately. I'll just keep, you know, I'll leave our existing Facebook group open anyway. And since it's just us at the moment, we can keep using that. And then when I get like halfway through the next group, I'm going to open up the new alumni group and invite you guys all to come in there as well and be able to participate. You had mentioned, Sandra, that you were hopeful that your parents might want to do this at some point. Couple of things, and I'm not going to talk pricing at this point, but for you guys who have done this before and decide you want to do another challenge, do a complete reset, you can do that at a significantly reduced price from the regular program price. And for families and households, we'll have special pricing available for that as well, to encourage groups to do it together. So just a couple of thoughts to share there. And not that I'm saying, you know, rush out and get me more people. Well, actually, yeah, rush
Yes,
out.
you are. Hell yeah.
Well, so what I'm really saying is, in the same way that I do, you know, with all of my other business clients, is if you found some value with this, when you notice somebody that can use the kind of help that I'm providing, please let me know so that we can try and get them hooked up. That's all.
Yep.
Get the results that everybody's looking for. All right, guys, I apologize. I've kept you all over time. Really didn't mean to do that, but we had a lot of stuff to cover today, and I think that was valuable. I appreciate all your feedback and input. Keep it up, and I want to hear on Monday what you did for the buffer zone. Okay?
Bam.
All righty. Have a
Right.
great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone. Bye,
Sally.
everyone.
Bye-bye.